Alexa says. How old are you, James? Just impress me.
I'm 25.
You're 25 years old. Can you hear him all right? Was that right?
Testing 1, 2.
Ah, lovely. So, James, while I scowl at you and just look at you with green jealous eyes, can you just tell us a bit about you, and then we'll introduce your film?
Yeah. So I'm currently a teacher at the moment. I've been teaching for 3 years.
Can I just point out I don't hate you anymore? That's a very bad look to hate.
I've just loved film for all my life, and it's always been something that I've wanted to try and take a little bit more seriously. And to be quite honest, the idea came about for just trying my hand at maybe a more professional looking film. I've always tried to do some amateur stuff with my mates. Is anyone else into filmmaking here at all? Put a show of hands if you are. Yeah, well, it's a very rewarding process, and you know, it's great watching film, but it's also great actually making film as well. So it's always something that I've had the ambition to do.
And so the film in question, and we'll talk briefly about your short film work as well in a minute, but the film in question that you're debuting in January on an IMAX screen. Really on an IMAX screen?
Yeah, it is pretty crazy.
That's amazing. Is a film called To Catch a Fish. Is that right?
Yeah.
I hope so, and I'm only double checking because my research hasn't gone entirely to plan today. It's just like, so can you introduce To Catch a Fish to us, and then we'll just play a little clip for it?
Yeah, so To Catch a Fish is basically our first anthology film. I hope to do some more short films. It's very much inspired by Twilight Zone, Black Mirror, Hammer horror films that I absolutely adore. And it basically came about initially as just a short film that I wrote and was hoping to just produce on just a shoestring budget. And what started out with my just DSLR camera, I realised after watching quite a lot of content on YouTube that to actually, give it a go, I was going to get some more people involved. And so I contacted the community filmmakers in the West Midlands, and I got in touch with a director of photography called Ben Thompson, who worked or made his trade at the BBC. And in doing so, we got chatting, and he liked the script, thankfully for me. He was able to give me some advice as well. Also, as Ben was also obviously into his independent filmmaking, more in a commercial sense for Ben, because he basically produces commercial content with his Red cinema camera, which is 4K. And yeah, we kind of hit it off and started to take it a little bit more seriously. So what started out as just a bit of something that I thought would just be more of an amateur thing, kind of turned into a more professional kind of atmosphere with Ben getting involved. And then also met a lot of interesting people along the way. The film itself is basically about a kind of failing writer who is on the cusp of kind of making a decision that whether he's going to take things seriously in terms of writing and getting into the art, or actually just kind of fold and go into kind of the normal 9 to 5 kind of job. And he's kind of in great Twilight Zone fashion, like in a very supernatural sense. He's visited by this entity that offers him this opportunity of a lifetime of creative talent for a very small price. But yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to play now is a 2-minute clip from that. I should point out to my 8-year-old at the back, this is one of the 3 swear words. Get your fingers in your ear.
Sorry about
that. So, Dan, can we just play that clip?
myself, do you?
Fucking.
All in good time, all in good time.
There's one question I asked you just before that I want to ask you from everyone else. So your name is James Mason, yes?
I think I know where you're going.
Yes. So the second billed person in your movie is
It's my
Graham.
dad.
So
Yes.
Graham Mason is your dad.
Yes.
Was that him at the end?
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird choice that, but the actual film obviously was shot in lockdown. But I think as someone that's never really directed before, and it being quite an interesting experience of directing actors, Hugh Brentnell, the main character, is someone I actually went to university with, so it was actually quite ideal for me to actually work with actors that I knew anyway. And obviously, obviously you're going to know your dad quite well.
Does he have an acting background?
He does actually, yeah. He actually went to, so I went to Kew University where I studied English and film. He actually went to so Staffordshire, so he actually did audio visual at his uni, and actually I remember he showed me one of his show reels of his actual film acting, and obviously he's brilliant, he's really good, he's got a great screen presence. So yeah, we always just joke that I'll try and get him in one of the films, but
He's sinister. Don't take this. I'm sure he's a lovely man. Did you make him audition? I mean,
no, not at all. I don't think he would really appreciate that, especially at the time as well. I was obviously living with my folks when we were doing it, and we were using the house as well. So
well, you've got a nice house.
Yeah,
I like your record player.
Yeah, that's their little retirement house. I'll say that.
So, I mean, I went onto the Facebook page of James Mason Productions, which I think is your company. I hope not. I hope it is, because otherwise this is
James Mason Productions on Facebook, Instagram, and
yeah. And I tried to follow the chronology of how long that had been in your life, because as much as we were talking about lockdown impacting projects before, I got that you were crewing this up at one point in January 2020. That you had a trailer ready for it in October 2020, that you shot it in the summer of 2020, but you were writing it some time before, and it sounded like, the bit that stuck in my head was the year of post-production on it. I wonder if you can just take us into that story a little bit.
It's the actual run time is 30 minutes, and if anyone's ever made a film here, normally you'll shoot it, you'll go into the editing stage. It normally doesn't take too long at all, but for this particular one, I'm not an actual filmmaker by trade. I actually, I live in teaching, and so therefore the post-production has been quite long-winded, and just generally, everything kind of had to fit around my kind of summer holiday. So we shot it in the summer holiday, then obviously went back to a term of teaching, and so I've been kind of working alongside our editor, Steve Richard, who's fantastic by the way. He's also, all the crew are West Midlands crew, except maybe for Hugh actually, sorry Hugh, but everyone else that was involved in the film, they're all West Midlands based, and so it has been long-winded, and it is very surreal now, it actually becoming a thing, and me here talking to you today about it is crazy. But yeah, it's no fault of anyone else's, and the fact that maybe I've just been kind of having to also juggle my kind of also professional career with teaching as well.
Throughout, because Film Stories has been going for 2-3 years now, and I've had the pleasure and privilege of seeing some really astonishing upcoming filmmakers. I've not seen one who's had an IMAX premiere for their film before, and I'm just curious how that happens, and how, can we get a ticket for that, for instance?
Yeah, so we're quite fortunate actually. We wanted it to be in the West Midlands, so we actually branched out to, to be honest, it was between Millennium Point and the Mac, and just as it worked out, it ended up at Millennium Point. But yeah, we were just really fortunate. Either one would have been ideal. We really wanted it to premiere in the West Midlands, and we're just very fortunate. Both parties were fantastic, but yeah, in the end we set up with Learning Point, and you know, surreal for me because I remember as a kid I'd go to the IMAX and see. I'm trying to think of the last film I saw. I saw The Christmas Carol there, the Jim Carrey one.
That's a sticky film.
That's
horrible.
I was probably in my mind now because obviously, I mean, I'm sure we're all going to be watching that quite soon. It's one of my favourites, to be honest.
It's no Muppets though, is it?
Oh, it's not. That's a different number, right? It's Citizen Kane of Christmas film.
The Citizen, yes. I mean, you've won the map back over there. But also, you talk about juggling it around your teaching work as well. But you've been making short films beforehand, because I've got the name Cliffhanger. That was a short film.
Yeah.
That didn't have Sylvester Stallone dangling over a mountain, no?
No. I think I said at the start. I mean, if you're a filmmaker, you know, I would be doing this anyway, even if I wasn't seeing it today. I just love the craft, it's fun. And I've been doing that for quite some long time, even to the point where with my younger brother, we had this really crappy digital camera where me and him would we hadn't got a clue about anything about the art of composition or anything, we'd just shoot films on that. And then when I got a little bit older, went to university, I still pressed my mates to make amateur films, and we just literally shot it on our mobile phones and we edited it on that evening. So I've always enjoyed doing it. But Cliffhanger was probably my first attempt at something artsy. And I did that with my dad in lockdown, just with my Canon 750D, and actually that recorder actually is Zoom H5. But yeah, it was just actually making them is the best experience. If anyone's ever interested in going to film, I would just say the actual making process, I've learned so much more than I ever have on a course. You know, actually physically doing it, I think you do really get to kind of perfect your craft. And I'm nowhere near there. That's why I'm just looking forward to the feedback for this. I want to learn more. And even no matter what happens with this, I want to carry on doing it. And I just really enjoy it.
James, I can't hate you. I'm trying really hard to hate you. You're depressingly young with all this talent. And your teaching as well. I don't know how you fit it in. I'm glad you do. How can we help support you? How can we get involved with your film work? How can we watch it?
So the film will be released on January 14th. It's 30 minutes long. There's been a lot of great people that have worked in it. I know you say I'm talented, but really it's just I've been very fortunate with all the people that I've met on the film process, down to the animator for the animated title opening, Fraser O'Connell, Steve Richards, the editor, also the sound man, Ben Thompson, who was fantastic on the visuals, Kieran Martin, who was on focus pulling, Hugh Brentnell, who gave a great performance, kind of comedic, kind of tongue-in-cheek, and obviously the big man himself, my dad as well. So he was the only one that wasn't paid a dot for this. So if we could support him, that'd be grand. But yeah, it's been quite an experience. Yeah.
James, I can sit here and just offer my congratulations to you. I'm in awe of what you've done. If you send us details of that premiere, we'll retweet that and put that on Film Stories socials for you.
So it will be available online. I'm not 100% sure where it's going to be on YouTube. It probably will be, but the actual, it won't be a kind of paid subscription thing. It will just be free. So yeah, any support I can get with that would be fantastic. Thank you very much for having me.
James Mason.